The Knicks have a Jalen Brunson problem. That's what Jared Schwartz of the New York Post wrote today, where he talked about how Jalen Brunson needs to be a better playmaker for the New York Knicks. While I agree that Brunson needs to do a better job of getting his teammates involved, I do not agree that the Knicks have a Jalen Brunson problem. There are things that need to change, and we're going to tell you what those are on today's show. But if you want the Knicks to win Game 3, to go up 2-1, hit that thumbs up icon. Don't jinx it. Don't be the person that doesn't hit that the like button. It'll be your fault if they don't win. If you want them to go up 2-1, hit that thumbs up icon. When it comes to the idea that the Knicks have a Jalen Brunson problem, one that is crazy, that is ludicrous, to be honest with you. But I do understand the thought behind it. I'm not going to go as far as to say the Knicks have a Brunson problem, but he does need to make changes, and he knows that he needs to make changes. And we'll show you a quote from him where I thought he gave the perfect answer. I will say this, though. Karl-Anthony Towns not scoring in the second half, that falls on Jalen Brunson. He handles the ball. He is the point guard. He makes the decisions of where the ball goes. Way too much of a heliocentric offense for the New York Knicks in the playoffs so far. Brunson's usage rate is way up in the playoffs. His floater rate is way up. The ball is in his hands too much. And too many times we are seeing Karl-Anthony Towns wide open. And Jalen Brunson is dribbling into the teeth of a double team. Or he's working that reverse pivot move out of a double. And he's dribbling the air out of the ball. And I understand Brunson can make that shot. Brunson's made that shot 100 million times. But Brunson, the best big man to ever shoot the three ball, is right there, wide open, where he shoots the three ball best. Just throw the ball behind your back and get it to him. This picture reminds me of the picture that was taken when you didn't pass the ball to Josh Hart against the Miami Heat. But then in the postseason the next year against the Sixers, you did make the pass. And that is why I think Brunson is going to watch this. I hope someone sat him down and made him look at this, because this isn't the only time that has happened. And if the Knicks want to do the things we hope they can do, this needs to change immediately. As does this. Karl-Anthony Towns played the entire fourth quarter, but only touched the ball on 3 of 24 possessions. Not shot the ball 3 times. The leather of the ball touched the palm of his hand 3 times. Oh, but Marshall Cat has to go out and demand the ball. What do you want him to do? Put Brunson in a headlock, slap Tibbs upside his bald ass head and say, give me the ball? I wish he would do that, but that's not going to happen. It falls on Brunson and it falls on Tibbs. And our captain, he knows that, saying, it's on my shoulders. I'm not going to point fingers and say some people need to do that and this. It's on me to make sure I set the table. I'll go back and I'll figure out what I need to do. We'll come back better for Game 3. And I believe that. And I trust in you. And I know that you will. And I think you know at this point, everyone knows you are one of the best scorers of the basketball. And you can get your shot whenever you want. Which means your first job should be to facilitate, to set the table, to get the ball to your teammates in spots that they could be successful. Because again, when you want to get a shot off, you can get a good shot off. But there were way too many shots that left your hand in Game 1. 27 shots with like 11 free throws. You can win that way, but it's not sustainable. And that's why it won in Game 1 and it didn't win in Game 2. Think about it like this. Jalen Brunson has passed the ball to Karl-Anthony Towns 12 times in both games in the series. Brunson is averaging 6 passes to Towns per game in this series. How the hell is that possible? Come on. And how is this possible? Since January 1st, Karl-Anthony Towns has attempted 9 threes out of Brunson and Cat pick and pop possessions. Only 3 of them since January 31st. And 0 of them in the first 2 games of the playoffs. It was the best duo on a points per possession basis in October, November, and December. And now we just do it anymore. Don't do it anymore. I don't understand. And don't tell me it's because Tobias Harris is guarding Karl-Anthony Towns, and that is why. That is a joke. If this team is going to make a run in the postseason, it will be because Karl-Anthony Towns is dominant, like he was in Game 1, where he dominated, and Tobias Harris could not guard him. You didn't trade Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a first-round pick to have a 7-foot corner boy, Frank Ntilikina style, worth $60 million in the playoffs. You traded for him to be a part of your offense and maybe be equal parts with Jalen Brunson. As much as this falls on Jalen Brunson, equal parts, if not more, falls on the shoulders of Tom Thibodeau. Tib says he doesn't want Karl-Anthony Towns shooting over double and triple teams. When was he triple teamed? I don't even remember him being double teamed. I don't want Cat shooting over double and triples. But Jalen, you could do it. Like what? How about the 7-foot guy shoots over the top of the double and triples? Instead of Jalen Brunson flopping on the ground all game long, looking for fouls, and embarrassingly celebrating when he fouled a teammate, another opposing player out. Man, you looked like Trae Young out there, bro. Game 1 stats. The Knicks scored 17 points off of Karl-Anthony Towns post-ups in Game 1. The game tells you what to do. That's what you say, Tibbs. Why didn't you post him up in Game 2? Karl-Anthony Towns was 4 of 5 from the floor when defended by Tobias Harris in Game 1. He was predominantly guarded by Tobias Harris in Game 2. But he touched the ball 3 times in the fourth quarter. Karl-Anthony Towns in this series has a better matchup than Jalen Brunson. I would rather Karl-Anthony Towns score over Tobias Harris than Jalen Brunson try to fight against Osor Thompson. I would rather Karl-Anthony Towns score against Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart than Brunson fight against 5 Detroit Pistons. That is just the facts. Another fact, I'm not worried. I'm not. Do I think the Knicks are going to win in 5? Not really. Do I think they can win in 6? Yeah. Do I think this might go 7? Yeah. But I'm not worried about Jalen Brunson because Brunson always figures it out. At least he has always figured it out while he's on the Knicks. And he has a way of doing so. And he's a playoff riser. And I hope that someone showed him the film of how open Cat is all the time. And that sometimes, even when Cat's guarded, he's still open because that's what good offensive players do. And Karl-Anthony Towns, he's a great offensive player. I so Brunson isn't going to win you a title. 6 foot, shot heavy, heliocentric guards typically do not win the finals. Has there ever been one? And if there is, I think Brunson could be that guy. But he's going to need help. And the only way he can get help is if he helps himself by passing the ball to maybe the player who might be actually the best offensive player on this team. The guy that went number 1 overall in the draft. What's your confidence level in the Knicks? Scale it 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident, 10 you got the most confidence in the world. What's your confidence level in this team to win this series? I'm going to still say 7.5. 7.5. Some other thoughts that I had as I went back and rewatched Game 2 yesterday. Josh Hart might need to play less minutes. And it's not so much because of the performance of Josh Hart, but because it's time for this team to lean into who they are and stop trying to be what Tom Thibodeau wants them to be. Be who you are. A team that plays with space, a team that wins with skill, and a team that has to outscore the other team. Because this team is not going to be a defensive juggernaut. This team is not going to be a rough and rugged team. This isn't last year's team. This isn't the 99 Knicks. This isn't the 94 Knicks. This is a team that traded for a center that is known as an offensive scorer. Not one that dominates the glass. Not one that protects the rim. And I want the Knicks to lean into a 5-out offense. And they are unable to do that when Josh Hart is on the floor. Because Josh Hart doesn't shoot the 3 well enough. And he doesn't put fear on the other team. And the other team wants him to shoot. The Pistons are guarding Josh Hart with their center. Jalen Duren. I saw Paul Reed guarding Josh Hart for half of the fourth quarter. I want to see Jalen Brunson, Miles McBride, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Give me 8 minutes. Give me an 8-minute stretch. Give me an 8-minute stretch. And let's play 5-on-5 hoops. And let's make them guard everyone on the perimeter. Because if you double Brunson, you know what happens? Someone that shoots 37% from better from three for their career is wide open. And let's make our shots. The way the Knicks win this series is they outskill the Detroit Pistons. I don't think the Knicks are going to win this series by out-roughing and out-toughing the Detroit Pistons. You are going to win with skill. And as much as I love Josh Hart, who, if you watch this channel, you know he's maybe my favorite player on this team. Playoffs are about matchups. And the game is telling me, Tom Thibodeau, that you might need to look at a different matchup. Like, the Knicks defense has been fine. You lost a game that you held them to 100 points. If I told you coming into the series, the Knicks would hold the Pistons to 100 points in a game, you would have signed up for that and said the Knicks are going to win that game. But they didn't, because they couldn't score more than 94. Because we saw a lot of Josh Hart, and he's not a scorer, and he's not a threat to score, and he doesn't shoot the ball well right now. And Mitchell Robinson, as great as he was on the glass, who I think should play more because the Knicks have to be better on the glass, you're not getting a lot of points out of Mitchell Robinson. The time for this team to show who they are is now. They've been hit in the face. They've been knocked down. They've been outplayed for 6 of 8 quarters. We're going to find out what this team is made of. They brought back the saying of tight-knit, all grit, whatever it was last year's saying. Be yourself. You're not last year's team. You should be better than last year's team. Find your own identity, which is skill. That's the only way this team's going to win. And we're going to find out how tight, close-knit, no-quit, all grit they actually are. We'll figure it out. Figure out on Thursday. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter and I am on IG. Give me a follow, and let's go Knicks.